Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
Hey, happy Halloween, everybody. My name is Leo. I'm the pumpkin behind the keyboard tonight. We have an awesome show scheduled for you as always. And with us, Jar Jar. How's it going, bud?
I'm Sasquatch. It came in blurry. I'm doing great. It's happy Halloween, everybody. I'm the only clown that didn't get dressed up tonight. But over to you, Carrie.
Hey everybody, happy Halloween. Hinata and I are here to wish you a happy haunted night. And it's Tuesday, it's Splash Pages. We're going to have a super large amount of fun tonight because we have an amazing guest with us. And over to Drew. I love it.
Wake up, Drew.
I tried to think. I couldn't help it. It just popped in there. Hi, everybody. I'm Drew. I'm the one who peer pressured all these beautiful people into wearing costumes. And it's happy Halloween. So, all you ghosts and goblins who got too trick-or-treated ahead of time, welcome to the show. If you're seeing it afterwards, welcome to the show. And also welcome to the show is a great guest from the mystical jungles of New York, not French Riviera. He's clearly in a legal dispute with King Kong, being that technically he came first. The one, the only, mighty Joe Young, Joe St. Pierre, everybody.
Yeah.
This is going well.
He's all right. Somebody give him a banana.
I can't breathe.
That's so good. You can take it up, Joe.
St. Pierre.
Oh, God. What a way to start the show.
Love it.
Dead guess.
All right, Joe, you're good. You can take it off. We're good.
You're our first.
Let them see your beautiful face. Leo, you can return to the pumpkin patch.
Yeah. I'll remove it. I just want to show this real quick because it's been forever since I wore it. But the actual mouth moves.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. That is so cool.
Yeah. It's tough to open. It's been so long since I had it.
That is terrifying.
Yeah, it is.
I want one.
Damn, Carrie, you got to add that to your list.
Yeah, it's on the list now. Yeah, tell me where you got that, Leo.
Yeah.
Leo's like,
all right.
I can't.
Leo's like, God damn it. The things I do because Drew says do it. So, also everybody here at Splash Pages and all of our guests, everybody, a very happy birthday to our Cthulhu cutie on the keyboard, Miss Carrie Sanders. Thank God. Yeah. May you have as many Coke Zeros as you'd want today. Oh God.
Baby Cthulhu.
Oh my God.
This is hand puppet Cthulhu. I have so many. It's ridiculous.
Yes, but she's not into hentai, so thank you. All right, so well,
show Circle the Drain very early. We're 2 minutes in?
Yeah, exactly. So I will say this, Joe, it's been a minute. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me back. Always fun.
Yeah, man. Good to see you. I think I saw you for like 2 minutes at Terrificon, and then it was so crazy, but in the best way this year. So I was like, I know I said, hey, I wasn't rude, but I was like, we'll catch you, and we did not catch you.
Well, you kicked me. You kicked me in the leg, but other than that, Terrificon's a very huge show, and it's only getting bigger as far as Artist Alley goes. So I'm sure there were a lot of people there that you hadn't interviewed, right?
That might have actually been my purse because Drew just grabbed me, and I'm like 5'5", and drug me through like top speed. So my purse
It was you who whacked me. That's what
yeah. I'm just like going along, just knocking people over. This little sidekick. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
It was adorable.
I made sure to show up today. Huh?
You did.
I know.
And Joe thought I was kind of like just a figment of the show's imagination.
Check out my past interviews on this show. This guy's not here. This guy
Yeah,
is not here. He never shows up.
That guy.
No.
But so what have you been up to since we last saw you? How's things?
Same old, man. I sit at my table for 12 hours a day and pound out garbage.
Yeah.
Hey, 12 hours a day sounds like the dream.
Yeah, man. Look what I got. I got my latest book here, which came out last year, and I want to show you a preview for Halloween. This is the cover for my next book, which is
wow, that looks great.
Which is like a very appropriate for Halloween, a horror / sci-fi mashup.
Mm-hmm.
The Cricket, her name is Cricket. Cricket's character,
I was going to
communicate with the dead trapped on Earth. Oh, you were going to quiz people? Go ahead.
Yeah, because we should all know who the characters are at this point. Well, except for Carrie. Carrie hasn't been around for Joe, but everybody else should know Cricket.
I'm not sure. Oh, and look at this.
Is this revenge, Jeremy? This is just like, oh, you didn't make me a costume. I'm going to put you on the spot.
I just got these in the mail from CGC yesterday.
Wow.
These are the B variants. They're all black. It's hard to see in.
Oh, I was gonna say, like,
yeah, I was gonna say
like you forgot there's something on the cover.
Yeah, I was like, you got a 9.8 for tinfoil? Oh, okay.
They have a glossy gloss / matte finish, so you can see the logo. Nice. It's hard to see. You can see the logo and the Aquarius symbol in matte, but it's very hard to see in this.
Yeah, it's a little. I thought you had a 9. I thought you had a 9.8 thing of tinfoil. I was like, man, I could do that for you with no charge.
It's a 9.6. I don't know what happened there. These are very hard. The black covers really hard to find.
Why do you do the signature series for them?
You know, they actually submitted them to I have a signature series account. I actually submitted them, but I forgot to sign them.
Wow,
that's awesome.
Thank you.
You know, like I said, it's the black cover, so they're really, really hard to find in what I would consider a 9.8 condition, right? It's just the slightest little blemish. So I think I went through 2 cases of them looking for 9.8s, and I spent so much time doing it, I forgot to sign the ones I found. So.
Now you gotta wait till there's a con so you can meet them again. You know, that's
Wow.
Welcome to my world.
And
I got plenty of others. What's that, Carrie?
I was saying Drew was saying that he thought it was foil, but I actually learned something yesterday when I was doing some research on stuff, that things with foil on them are actually really, really hard to get rated above a 9, because the foil has a tendency, no matter how carefully it's handled, to curl during
to peel off the cardstock. Yep.
Yeah,
I've heard that. So, I can believe that.
Mm-hmm.
So there, Drew.
Yeah, but it looked really cool though.
A 9.8 foil cover is impossible.
Yeah, I'll stick to my chrome of the 90s.
There you go.
So Joe,
40 copies of it.
No, please don't, Leo. So Joe, we did something very different, because normally we vote, but we had you choose the book that we read, at least one of them. So which was very appropriate for Halloween. Fear.
I agree.
By Howard Mackey and Lee Weeks. It was a Ghost Rider Captain America crossover. So
show your copies.
Wow, that's awesome.
Wow, that thing is deep.
That is well read.
It's actually in mint condition, dudes. I don't know what you're looking at.
Mackie.
That's awesome.
I thought the corner was curled up there on up by your hand, other side. That's
No.
Oh, you know what? Oh, maybe you don't see this in the digital version, but this is actually a gatefold cover.
No kidding.
Can you see?
Oh, wow, that's dope. Holy, that is so fucking cool.
So when
Drew,
it's
that's on my list.
So when it's folded,
Mm-hmm.
the part of the
I
don't know
see.
where it's folded, it's a little bit short.
Okay.
The width, it's probably about almost a 1/4 inch short. So
Wow.
maybe that's what you were seeing, Jar Jar.
Yeah,
I believe
white
so.
space. Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Is
Yeah,
this
so-
signed though?
it's not signed. No,
Oh,
Not
you
yet.
forgot to get it
I'm
signed.
not really an autograph guy, to be honest. But
No, I figure
Well-
with meeting all these guys, you'd be pretty much
Well-
sitting there with all these guys, you'd pretty much be able to be like,
Well-
hey,
Well, Joe, I will say
Are
this:
you-
if you get to meet either one of them, they're super pleasant and very chill. So
I have met both of them. Yeah.
there you go. See, so you already know.
Mackey was the writer, and Lee Weeks is the penciler. Al Williamson is the inker. I've never met Al.
Mhm.
Greg Wright, I remember meeting Greg Wright back in the day. He worked at Marvel when I was there during my regular full-time Marvel gigs. I met
Right.
Greg. I think he was a colorist.
Mhm.
And yeah. Mhm.
you
But-
want to tell everybody how you started at Marvel? You punk ass.
Yeah, you called them up. I forget who the editor was. Alfred E. Newman. Jar Jar calls up Alfred E. Newman at Marvel and says, "Give Mighty Joe Young a job."
He needs a job, damn it.
That's how it happened. I went in with the gorilla mask and everything, and they were
And
like,
bam,
"You're hired."
history was made.
Dress for the job you want, people.
It's a true story.
That's right.
You know.
Hired monkey. That's me.
Yeah, but so this I have to say, Joe, I didn't expect this to work because like Captain America, you think certain things, but teaming up with Ghost Rider, especially you have Danny Ketch Ghost Rider, which was the second one, and he's a little bit more seasoned than the Ghost Rider we saw when we interviewed Howard Mackey. I mean, that was literally issue 1. I didn't think this would work, but I was like, wow, Mackey really made it where Captain America and Ghost Rider actually teamed up, and it felt
made
pretty
sense.
natural. I mean, what did you think?
What did I think? Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely Ghost Rider centric. The focus is on Ghost Rider. I think he may have been writing Ghost Rider at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
and
so.
So Cap has that. Cap has that vibe from Daredevil Born Again. Have you read Miller and Mazzucchelli's Born Again?
Mhm.
When Cap shows up, he's kind of like this iconic figure, and so he had. I think Howard wrote Cap kind of in that iconic figure mode, so he kind of comes in, becomes an example for Danny Ketch on how to kind of move through life as a vigilante and stuff like that. So
Yeah, totally.
I thought it worked out.
And that's something
No, absolutely.
Danny Ketch really needed, was just somebody's support, and having Captain America be like,
Yeah.
I
Doing the right
I don't
thing,
think there's
yeah.
anything wrong with you. You got it. Really helped us. I mean, the comic obviously was more focused on the Scarecrow and stuff, but
Which I'd
I'm a
never
huge
read
Trigger
a
fan.
Marvel Scarecrow story before. That was something totally different for me.
Mhm.
I like this Scarecrow. The Scarecrow is scary. Like,
Yeah, totally messed up.
Yeah. And for him to keep referring people as packages I was like, well, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
I was just like, if someone it was like, oh, hey, look at the pretty dolls. Like, okay, we're gonna go the opposite direction. Somebody is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and we need to run.
Yeah. Totally.
You need to let the fear out.
Look at
Yeah,
the fear out.
and then it was funny because there were certain things I was like, this commissioner who is convinced Ghost Rider is like the worst thing ever. He's kind of got that like J. Jonah
I was
Jameson.
gonna say that.
Yeah, Thaddeus Ross kind of energy to him,
Mhm.
where it's just like, I don't care what you do, and I'm like, you get it.
I need
And,
pictures of Ghost Rider.
Yeah. You know, no, and what was also nice is I feel like whenever you get these like classic, like these team ups, a lot of times they just become like big old slugfests.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you know, this
And
one,
the opposite happened here.
yeah. And I have to say, I was kind of refreshed because I was like, I was expecting that. And I was like, listen, he's Captain America, so he's going to hold his own, but that's a spirit of vengeance. Like, it's got to be a draw, right? So, but
I expected an arm around the waist on the motorcycle.
Oh yeah,
It was
just
a missed opportunity.
Okay, Cap riding bitch. We got
see, I'm reading it and I hear that song from Mannequin in the background. So if you can hold this world together, living on whatever. And I'm just like, oh my God. Exactly. Nothing's gonna stop us now. Just like, oh God. Oh, poor Captain America. I'm so sorry, Cap. I love you.
Cap rode a bike for a long time, and a lot of the issues, Cap had his own motorcycle.
Yeah.
I thought for sure I was going to see a scene where the two of them were just kind of riding together, but
yeah, that would have been dope.
I was a little surprised to see that, Cap on the back seat.
and you know what's also is like the whole obsession with the police officer thinking it reminded of his mom. That kind of like, and then tying her up and keeping her in like a blood shrine. I was like, this is kind of some Jason Voorhees vibes. You know, he's got that obsession with mom, everything. I'm just like, oh my God, like.
Well, not only tying her up and all that, but like when they find her and they think she's dead, and it's like he started stuffing her, and then realizing she's still alive. Like, holy fuck! Like that is pure torture.
Yeah, this comic was twisted,
and that almost broke Ghost Rider into actually killing someone. So yeah. I also like the little weird kind of moment where Cap is asking him like, what power is this bike that you're riding? And Ghost Rider's like, pretty much like everything else in my life, I have no idea.
I don't know.
Neither I nor my Kudos know. There's just something going on. He's like, okay, that's fair. Yeah. But yeah, that
powered
was
by the souls of gingers.
The art was fantastic throughout too.
Well,
I love this.
Lee Weeks always delivers. I think his style's gotten better as time is going on, and if we can get him on the show, I would love that, because he is such a pleasant person and he's such a great artist. I mean, I've met him a few times, but one of the coolest is I had him sign my copy of Batman Elmer Fudd, and he actually like sketched a quick Elmer Fudd on it, and I was like, dude, like he just was like, bam, and I'm like, he was like, oh no, you're good. I'm like,
nice.
Me? Like, this is it was like, this is the best day. But no, but it was what I liked is that it fit this creepy vibe. It was detailed, but it was also like not like horribly realistic, but it wasn't super cartoony. And then the colorist just had the creepy vibes with the colors, and the inker had just the perfect shading and whatnot. Like, oh,
it's
fuck,
dark,
man.
but not so dark that you can't see what's going on. Everything's very bright, visually colorful, but it's very dark background.
Yeah,
very intense.
And the way that they played with the shadows kind of had a Mike Mignola feel to it. You know, that very playful darkness accentuating the seriousness, and then it's like against the dark, the red is just so much more red and vibrant. I feel like if I have any criticism about it, I kind of feel like the ending was very horror movie-esque. Like, of course he's not dead.
Yeah.
And of course these people who gave him the powers are like, you gonna collect. And I'm just like, of course.
And
I liked it.
But it does hook up to the beginning where he was enhanced by mysterious people, and those mysterious people come back. But I got to say that this did, with that ending, this did feel like, maybe a fill-in, a 2-issue fill-in of Ghost Rider, and they were like, this is too good. Let's make this some kind of prestige. Let's make this, that instead of Ghost Rider 28 and 29, let's make this, a special of its own and make some extra cash off it. It's definitely got that vibe.
Yeah, but I like I said, I mean, this was like at 40 something, 50 pages. Each page was great, and I'm just thinking, like, if this was now, this book would be like what, Jar, like $6.99 or something, like.
Oh, easily. It's probably a $9.99 book, actually.
No, it's not a It's not a milestone issue with 10 variant covers. Like, come on.
How much are 48-page books? How much are 48-page hard copy comics nowadays? This one is $5.95 in.
There you go.
I'm telling you,
92.
So I'm saying $9.99 would be.
Yeah, I could see that $9.99.
Probably
but
I'll be paying a lot more than that for it.
And Carrie is slowly building up a chest of demons, aka her comic book collection.
Plus the gatefold cover, right?
Yeah, you got to focus on one character at a time, Carrie.
I'm sorry. That is such a beautiful wraparound, Joe. Like, I imagine that would be the coolest poster.
It's pretty cool. I would never take it apart, but that's because I'm such a nerd. Maybe I should have bought a second copy and then tore the cover off and stuck it on. But this kind of came
your door.
This is probably one of the last comics I bought as a fan, probably because I actually got into the industry around 92 or 93. So So this is 92. So this is probably one of the last comics I bought as like a comic book. Let's have this, that
right.
One of us.
So Joe, when you're transitioning from being a fan to being part of the industry, do you get automatically get free comics? Do they just give it to you, or do you still got to pay? Do you get an employee discount?
We used to get comps when I was at Valiant. When I was at Marvel, I don't remember getting comps at Marvel. But Valiant, we would get comps from everybody, like Marvel and DC would send comps to Valiant Comics. So we wouldn't just get Valiant Comics, we'd get Marvel and DC. I did some stuff for Image, and for a while they would send Image comps to me for a while. So it depends. I guess they kind of lose track of you. You stop getting comps. I guess. I don't know. It's been so long now. I don't remember the rules.
There was a glitch in the Excel spreadsheet, and
Well, and Joe, you weren't a stranger to crossovers yourself. I mean, you did Tooth and Claw, which was a crossover between Venom and Wolverine, your little 3-part miniseries. And again, other characters have spilled over in other stories that you've done. So I guess in terms of doing a crossover, it's about making a story that works, right? That's like, what's the magic there?
Yeah.
In your opinion,
you find that common theme, or you find that common hook that characters, share or don't share, like Ghost Rider and Cap, you might not think the two of them go together. If Ghost Rider was some kind of straight up horror character, there was no Danny Catch Human thing, Ghost Rider and Cap the story might not have worked, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, you find that kind of common hook, Cap as the iconic, experienced vigilante / hero character, kind of helps out the younger, newer hero character. That kind of hook works. So you got to find that kind of common
ground.
Yeah, I don't know if ground is the right word, but the place in the story where they can both relate to either to each other or to the idea of the story. That makes
So
sense.
how would you start, say, since you've built your own universe with the zodiacs and stuff, how do you start off with that? Did you start off with the idea of just a world first, or did you have characters first?
The new Zodiacs is it's my solution for my creative ADD, ADHD. I've got probably about 5 or 6 different stories floating around in my head at a time.
Yeah.
When I'm drawing, penciling, I'm thinking of dialogue. When I'm writing stories, I'm thinking of pictures. So I've got some weird shit banging around inside my head. So I've got sketchbooks from, even before my career started. I was always interested in the Zodiac. So I always had characters that were kind of loosely based on the Zodiac, since I was like 10 years old. But as time goes by, you start creating other characters.
Right.
And like I said, I like this guy. Where is this guy? I like this guy a lot. He's cyberpunk. He kind of solves my Jones for sci-fi, for computer generated hacking stories and espionage stories, corporate theft, that kind of shit, Robin Hood. And I also love horror. So she kind of satisfies, that kind of, where do we come from? Where do we go after we're all dead? Let's fuck around. Let's mess around with those kind of stories with this character. So when you got all these stories jumble around together, it's like, okay, I can work on this character and this one and call it a universe.
Right.
So how do I call it a universe? And then I would go back. The ultimate solution was to go back to when I was a kid. I had characters based on the Zodiac. So I was like, okay, what if we replace those old 10-year-old characters with new ones and use the motif that I had back in the day? That's really how the whole kind of thing came up. So on days when I don't feel like drawing horror stuff, I can work on something else. That's the idea. And
how come you don't do more with Lion?
Yeah, he's next. He's number 4.
Oh, okay.
But
I gotta wait a little
story
longer.
is written. Yes, I know.
Cool.
I know. And like I said, I got a million other gigs. I have the day job. Commercial art. So then work on this on the side, and
Cool.
it's all a jumble of just pounding out work. And I don't know. It's tough. If I had an unlimited budget, there would be 12 of these a month, and I'd be doing 1 or 2. Maybe I'd write 3 or 4. But unlimited budget, this would be like monthly series. So that's the problem with this being one guy with 2 hands.
Right.
Piggybacking a little bit back off of what Drew was saying before, I was asking some friends who are interested in you too about questions, and our friend John Krissa, who's a comic book collector and seller and artist, has asked, as someone who's worked a lot on more of the abstract or unique stories that utilize the flagship characters at Marvel, which has been your favorite or least favorite, and what's one that you still can't believe happened?
Wow, 3 questions in one. Nice.
Yeah, kind of just
if he gets lost in a tangent, pull him back.
Say something like this one sucked or something. You have to worry about that.
Well, I did a one shot. I kind of came in towards the tail end of the Clone Saga in the 90s. And as a fan, I was like, oh, I hate Clone Saga. It stinks. But as a professional getting work, I was like, yes, please, may I have another Clone Saga story?
Yeah. Right. We'll make this even longer.
Yeah, exactly. So there was a Clone Saga one shot. It was kind of like a review of like the last 25 years of Spider-Man's history up to that point.
Right.
And so I got to draw like all the major supporting cast members and the villains, the classic Spidey villains all in one issue. And that was a blast. And I think that was probably my favorite overall product. Okay. And but the Venom Wolverine, the Tooth and Claw, the first issue of that was my best-selling book at Marvel. So that one has a special place in my heart. And that one people still recognize that one. So they'll come up to me and they're like, I have that book at home, okay, good for you.
Why don't you have it here so I can sign it?
They recognized the book, they had bought it. Like I said, it was a bestseller. It was a bestseller at Marvel at the time. So I guess a lot of people have that issue, whereas the one shot, Parker Year's one shot, was probably, because it wasn't one of the core Spidey titles. It may have been like a lesser seller. I don't know the sales on that one. But that creatively, that was a lot of fun. And what don't I believe happened? I guess there's a part of me, there's a part of me that doesn't believe I actually did what I did, but it's been so long now, and I've done so much since then that it's like, it's not that big of a deal, Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of.
I wanted to draw Spider-Man since I was a kid. So my first rejection letter came from Marvel Comics when I was 10. So I knew very early what I wanted to do. Then when I actually did it, it was like, I did it, and now what's next?
Right.
So wow.
And it's funny because my first introduction to your work was your work on Spider-Man 2099.
Right.
And I thought that stuff was great. I mean, that whole run is just was a fantastic collaboration of Peter David, and then all of his artistic collaborators, Rick Leonardi, you, I think Kelly Jones did like one issue, and a bunch of other people. And it is just fantastic. Because again, at that time, people were very used to Peter. They kind of fell in love with Ben, and then of course we know what happened there. And then you have this new one. You have this Miguel, and he's such a fucking asshole. So it was interesting exploring that in a different world, which was meant to kind of. I feel like in some ways it called out a lot of things that actually happened, like corporations becoming extremely more powerful in everyday society. The kind of endorsement of superheroes, over reliance on technology, holograms, all that kind of thing. I mean, when I read it, I was like, wow, Peter David called a lot of good shit.
Cults, the Thorists.
Cults. Yep, the Thorists, right? Yeah. So, but like you said, it's funny because when I met you, I think it was like a couple of years ago. I know I had those issues, and I was like, oh, this was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and you're like, cool, man, thanks, I appreciate it. And I was like, just St. Pierre, chill guy. And now it's very true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's funny like that, I guess.
Once you do it, that kind of mystique is. It dissipates. You know what I mean? And it becomes a gig. Like I said, this is the
man behind the curtain.
Yeah. This is one of the last books I bought as a fan. When I became a pro, I actually really didn't have time to collect comics anymore. I basically stopped reading, and it was just me at the table. 12 hours a day. 7 days a week. Pounding out pages. You got to get paid. You got to pay the rent, and so you don't have time to look at or read or follow comics. That was my experience.
Yeah,
that hurts the heart.
Just real quick. So speaking of like getting paid, we
how much did you make?
No. So
$12.
We covered a very informative panel at Terrificon about making money in comics, and the gentleman they had given the panel was talking about how, like back in the day, you really strive to get to work for Marvel or DC, but nowadays you only do that for like name recognition, but the real money is with the independent comics.
You create your own comics.
Yeah, totally. So since you've seen both sides of the fence, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the idea is to come in like a Todd McFarlane, right, or Frank Miller, come in, reinvent a character, explode on that character in terms of popularity, and then spin that off into million-selling comics, right? That doesn't happen to everybody.
No.
That's that's the American dream. But I think the more important thing is to try to satisfy yourself creatively, and then if those things happen for you, also make the best of it. You know, not every, McFarlane and Frank Miller, they're 1 in 1,000. Maybe there are some people who can make a living on their own, create their own stuff, and there's a lot of A-list creators from Marvel and DC who are kind of doing their own thing nowadays, right? But invariably, I think you see they'll do like 5 issues of this, and then they'll come back to a Marvel or something like that, and then do their own thing again, unless they're very comfortably well off. Jeff Johns doesn't have to worry about paying his rent, so Jeff Johns can go and do multiple things and arrange. He's an A-lister, right? But not everybody's an A-lister. I wouldn't consider myself an A-lister. I didn't have 25 issues on Green Lantern or on Spider-Man or something like that. I'm a working pro, hired gun. I thank God I can, knock on wood, I can make a living doing what I love to do, but I didn't have that series that connected. I don't know if a series that connects is even a thing anymore. I don't know if huge runs on comic books, if that even is a possible thing anymore, the way the industry is going and stuff like that. So it's interesting. And so you just got to navigate to the best of your abilities.
How do you feel the popularity of comics? Do you think it's at an all-time high now, or are we just seeing the movie madness and no real push towards the comic side of it?
I haven't really been in a comic shop that often since COVID hit. Sorry to say, really? It's kind of weird. So I get a lot of information online and stuff like that, and a lot of what I see online with the variant covers and stuff is like there's a lot of speculation, and I don't see people. And there's a lot of people talking about the movies and how Marvel's in a rut. What do you mean Marvel's in a rut? They're talking about the movies. I don't see a lot of people talking about the comic books.
Right.
And so I'm a comic book guy. I'm since I was a kid, I like to read comics. I'm a huge fan of great comics. I like to encourage people to read great comics.
Yeah, you did a good job.
I don't see a lot of people talking about comics, at least not in my exposure. Do you guys?
I have 5 kids and not one of them reads comics.
Yeah.
I have certain friends that I feel like I can talk about comics, but a lot of us aren't really collecting like we used to.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times we'll just reminisce about the highs and lows of, what we grew up on, what we collected, our favorites. But modern, not as much. I mean, it's tough.
I think I have like 3 or 4 I still read from modern.
Yeah,
gotta pay the rent first, and then
we should, asterisk this chat. This is a caveat about, mainstream superhero comics, Marvel, DC, comic shop experience, that kind of thing. Whereas there's a whole nother side to the comic book industry that's manga, Japanese comics.
Right.
There's a whole nother side where there's young reader, YA, graphic novels that are outselling the top 10 mainstream superheroes combined.
It's true.
So there's a whole nother world, and I've tried to touch on that since COVID too. I did a graphic novel series called the Fabian Cousteau Expeditions, which was like a young reader's adventure series, and it had like, we go over to South Africa and try to find a great white shark and things like that. So I tried to tap into that kind of scene too. talking about properties and new zodiacs, I have other properties that kind of are aimed more at that kind of audience as well, that I've been developing on the side when I have free time.
Mhm.
So that's a whole nother scene altogether.
Totally.
So
I actually had pulled up a picture and had some questions for you about the Fabien Cousteau series.
mhm.
You have developed a very, very distinctive art style in a lot of what you do. And I'm going to pull up a picture, but how was it a matter of just like the directions and things that you had the creatures be in so that you could use your art style and still be able to, like, in this case, show, you're able to label all of the different parts of the turtle for kids that are reading it to check out, but it still, it has your style. It's just a little like which direction it's gone, Is that hard for you
Are
to
you
do?
saying that? Are you saying the style is different than the mainstream superhero style, Carrie?
Okay. I guess what I'm saying is you kept still your somewhat the same style as I see you doing, but it's kind of like the way that the turtle is angled was set up so that you could see everything. Is that how you worked around stuff so that you could keep because it's beautiful and you can tell that it's your work, but it's, it would be very hard on some of your Venom comics, for example, to label all the different parts because of the, stances that they're taking. So
well, a lot of things that I can talk about there. Thanks for the props, but I have to say that I approached the Cousteau series with the same brain that I approach the superhero stuff with, which if I have anything that I do well, it's to show action. I'm very good at composing action poses and stuff like that, and my comic storytelling is pretty good. Combining those two things. So when I came to that, if this is me looking at contemporary YA graphic novels, I see even the action shots of some of these artists are like, you could have pushed that. You could have shoved that turtle into the camera a little harder, you know what I mean? And so I thought this might be a good time or a good opportunity for me to bring what I do well to YA stuff. And so that angle on that turtle that you showed was kind of me, I could see like a Venom in that pose, kind of diving off a roof towards the camera. You know what I mean? I can see a Venom figure in that shot, which may be hard to picture in other people's head. But as far as I could do it, but as far as labeling the parts, that's just a design thing. So it's like, okay, if Venom's in that pose, I would design the page so that if you need to label Venom's leg, and his teeth, and I could do that. That's just a design thing. Right. But what I do think I did in the YA stuff, I did much less hatching, and I tried to draw a little bit more cartoony, like a little bit less defining every plane change, that kind of stuff. I think the superhero stuff I do is a little more detailed, and the Cousteau stuff is a little more simplified. And that was kind of intentional also.
It was beautiful.
But I can show you other properties that I'm working on where the style is different again. I something on my
what are you working on
that I could show you. Well, I don't want to. I probably shouldn't show you because it's not. Well, hold on.
It's not camera ready.
Oh no!
While
not safe for work.
While he gets it, I just have to get this out because it came to my mind when you were talking about it. Have the turtle venomized, but then it turns into a character, a teenage mutant venomized turtles.
Get up.
Yeah.
Don't tell Justin.
Venomized turtles.
Probably shouldn't do this, but it's Halloween, so.
It's
Yeah.
my
It's
birthday.
like a party.
It's your birthday, Carrie.
Yeah. Break the rules.
Yeah,
Create a
man.
Venom
Yeah.
turtle.
You're the man.
There's a Venom verse. You know, anything's possible.
The stuff is locked in copyright wise anyway. So
Is that the original cover art with Cricket on it behind you?
yes?
Oh wow!
Can you see that?
How'd you? Yeah,
You can see the bottom half.
Wow.
That's
That's
crazy.
That's still beautiful to look at. Look at that.
That is
That's just
crazy.
detail AF, man.
That's awesome.
Nicely done.
Cool little story about this. The colorist for the cover for this cover, her name is Laura Martin. She's a A-list colorist at Marvel.
Yes, she is.
And DC. She works with Walt Simonson on Ragnarok.
Yep. She's worked with Olivier Copiel. Yeah.
Yes. So she colored this cover very well, I might add.
She did.
And let's see, do I have one of those laying around? Yeah, hold on a second.
And it's funny because I remember I met her at a con. I think it was at Boston. And I had like a small stack of books. And she just, let's go. And I'm like, oh, man. She was ready. You know, and we had like a nice conversation about it and stuff because she was just like, yeah, it doesn't happen too much these days. So I really like it when you guys come by and just show me you've been supporting my work all these years. And I was like, oh no, you do great work, Laura. Like, and I had like, oh man, she's done so much work with Olivier Copiel. She did like a ton of John Cassidy's run on Astonishing X-Men. And she's such a pleasant person, but she's just such clean work. So, but back to Joe.
So you saw, yeah, she's fantastic. So you saw the black and white, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then this is Laura's coloring on the cover. You can see this.
Wow, that's beautiful. That is super nice, man.
Wow. Very cool. But she colored everything is kind of like blues and hues and greens. And then this guy right here, I don't know if you could see this.
Yeah.
He's straight up green, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's so weird. I told her in a conversation, I told her it's so weird that you colored this person green because no one else is green. And this is Cricket's husband.
Oh, wow.
Kind of like a hook, who's like a hook. You know, that's one of the hooks of the Cricket story.
Mm-hmm.
And that her husband is dead. And she was like, she said, she texted me, she said, well, he's the only one in profile in the entire cover.
Wow.
So she figured he was somebody important. But I did not know that I had drawn that the only character on this cover, all of these ghosts, only one of them was in profile.
Wow.
And so it was kind of one of those kind of mysterious, you know, working with someone as
meant to be
as high a level as she is, that she could see things that I didn't even realize myself.
Right. Makes you more clever than you want to admit you are.
Yeah, totally. So what a pleasure working with Laura and people that level, you know what I mean?
Of course.
Of Steve Furchow, who did a lot of stuff for Top Cow, and he did X-Men at Marvel. You know, he's another guy, you know, I'll give him a black and white piece, which I think, oh, this is pretty good. And then he'll knock the freaking bottom out of it. And it's like, wait, it's like, this looks completely different than the black and white, but it looks fantastic. You know, it's like another level of fantastic. So I love working with great creators like that.
I'm always amazed what a colorist can do with a piece. It can, as you say, it can change the whole piece from one picture to another.
We can segue to the Ghostbusters because on that note, because I think, you know, the difference between the level of skill on this in the coloring world and the level of skill on the Ghostbusters world, it was a fun experiment for me.
Totally. So totally. And I was like, how do I segue? Because you were on a nice tangent, Joe. And I was like, I don't want to interrupt. This is a great thought. Like, it's very insightful. I was like, I'm really excited.
If it's okay
Yeah.
to jump in kind of with that too, you were talking about the difference in the art. I do have another shot when you were talking about the young adult stuff.
Oh, yeah.
How you did more cartoony. Sorry, Leo, I'm just putting this over top for a little bit.
Fucking up my vibe.
But like, so there's the so there's another example of how you said you changed it to be a bit more for the young adult audience. I just
for
since
sure.
you mentioned it,
And fell in love with the 6-panel grid, but the classic 6-panel grid.
Yeah.
Nowadays I defy you to find, even in Fear in 1992, I defy you to find a 6-panel grid in this book, 48 pages. Let's see, probably not there. But
Not
the
really.
6-panel grid forces you to look at what's inside the box.
Right.
And so it's not the panel's not doing any work. It's just sitting there. And so every single drawing that goes inside that panel in a 6-panel page has to be something unique.
Right.
It can't just be a headshot. It can't just be
Right.
You have to make that. You have to really focus on good storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And so did a lot of 6-panel grids for the series just because, I once spoke to a woman, an adult woman, who told me she didn't know how to read comics. And she opened up a comic such as this, and she sees all these panels, and some of them are overlapping, and some of them are running off the page, and she didn't know where to start.
fair.
There are people out there who may be interested in comics who find, the more advanced
I actually had
layouts
that
hard to
problem.
read.
I had that problem when we were reading Hellraiser. I
Yeah.
didn't know where to start and where to. I actually had to ask for help from these guys. I was like, "Look, I've read the whole comic now, and I don't think I've read it in the right way."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something you should always keep in mind is that Shooter used to tell me this at Valiant, but I think Shooter got it from Stan Lee, and Stan Lee would say, this is someone's, no matter what comic
First
it
time.
is, it's someone's first read, their first comic. And so I tried to keep that in mind, especially with the Cousteau stuff.
Right.
But at the same time, I brought a lot of that, the superhero comics, the Marvel, DC sensibility. I brought that stuff to the young reader stuff,
Yeah.
When a shark is coming towards you, it looks more dramatic than when a shark is just kind of floating in the water. When you're looking down the shark's mouth, you can't see a shark, inside a shark's mouth unless you're some kind of daredevil documentary filmmaker, right?
Right.
So it's like, here's your opportunity. Let's look inside the shark's mouth.
Right.
Let's have some fun with it.
There you go. So
You brought up and I'll bring up Ghostbusters. Sorry, Drew. But you brought up a great, comment. Every comic is somebody's first, comic.
Right.
And I think that's where, and just to get on my soapbox for a second, where I feel comics are in trouble nowadays is because they're constantly doing, crossovers, and even like, and I complain about this so much, but the new Gotham War storyline for Batman.
Oh my God, let it go.
I heard that on the last episode, I think.
It's all over the place, and it's you don't know. Like, I'm lost in the storyline.
I'm almost tempted to read it at this point.
You know what it is, Joe? Joe, you know what it is?
I'm listening.
He's been raving about Zdarsky's run since it began, talking about how great it is, how brilliant, all this stuff. And then they pull this, and Leo is just like, was like, this isn't my Batman. What is this? What is this? He's so mad. He was like,
can you fill me in on what the deal is? Because I've been binging the show, prepping for the show, and I've I hear how you hate Gotham work. Can you just
Oh, geez.
fill me in on
Yeah,
the blank?
just real quick. Essentially, Catwoman has decided to open up a school for crime. She's training the thugs to be cat burglars. And with doing that, all the thugs are no longer working for, say, like Joker and Penguin and whatnot. So they're all like sitting off onto the sidelines. They don't know what to do. But with this happening, you know, crime rate has, you know, fallen. Not crime itself, but violent crime. And the Bat family thinks, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. They're fully supporting Catwoman, and Batman thinks crime is crime. And this is really, you know, he's starting to come to Catwoman's, you know, train of thought. But then one of the thugs gets killed because an owner has a gun when he's trying to rob her jewels. And then he sees, you know, there's danger and everything. So he's against that. The whole Bat family is against Batman. And like just like 3 issues ago, they were all lovey-dovey having, you know, breakfast in the mansion.
Leo, wrap it up.
Okay.
Look at Drew.
But at a turn of a hat, the whole Bat family's fighting Batman, and it's like, you know, it's just a mess.
Right here.
Yeah.
So you're telling me when I get issue 139, it's not going to continue from 138 where they were attacking Red Hood?
No, because they're far off. That's the other thing is they've spun off different series. There's a Red Hood series made specifically for Gotham War. It's spreading across Catwoman. And it's not Zdarsky writing the whole thing. You know, the last several issues have been, you know, just different writers. And I think it's a complete mess.
Are you done?
So
you asked.
So to come back to fear, what is our lesson here for me who didn't buy Ghost Rider at the time and was probably not buying Cap at the time, although I have quite a run of Captain America. I may have been reading Captain America, but I'm not sure. But I knew Scarecrow from Captain America. Even since I was a kid, Scarecrow started as kind of like a thug, then became, I think, under J.M. DeMatteis and Mike Zeck, they did a storyline with this Scarecrow, which I thought was great, which probably made him like this serial killer psycho version, right? So, but they didn't get into any of that detailed past with Cap, right? When Cap shows up, he's the icon. He's a character to play off the main idea of the story, which is Danny Ketch dealing with, you know, how do I handle these powers? How do I handle how I'm treated by the cops? How do I handle these criminals, you know, if I'm a budding spirit of vengeance, right?
Right.
So if you were to spend 10 pages on Cap's past with Scarecrow, you'd get lost, right? So I think this is probably my favorite thing that Howard Mackey's ever written because it's so tight. He's focusing on one thing. Everything else connects to that one thing. You're carried through. Fucking A, 48 pages later, you're satisfied. You got something. So it sounds like, according to Leo, they're not doing that with the Batman wars.
Yeah, and you know, I totally agree with you, Joe. It's a great read, and it's, you know, anybody with like a passing knowledge of Catman. Captain America and Ghost Rider can easily pick it up and know what's going on.
Leo, I need to make this very clear. A new month is literally tomorrow. I don't want to hear about it for a month. Okay, I'm putting my foot down.
2 more issues for Gotham.
Okay, cool. When it's done, you can talk about it again. I want 2 weeks
I'm going to make
of
you read
peace.
it. Drew, I'm going to make you read it.
No. First things first, I read 5 comics a day. You don't tell me what to do. You're not my mom, and you're not my real dad. Okay? So shut up, and let's talk about Ghostbusters. Woo! Jesus. I'm sorry. I'm good. So
did I tell you our pick for 2 weeks from now is going to be Gotham War?
Yeah, yes, and I will fake a stomach virus and not go on the show.
I'm going to pull my
so-
stomach virus card for that.
Yeah,
one.
exactly. Just, I think I have a stomach bug. What is it? Oh, to pretentious ginger bullshit. It's a rare disease. Very straight. It's 24-hour bug. Very, very rare. So this, I was thinking of simple stories we could take to Halloween. This popped in my head. I haven't read it in forever. So rereading it was just great. As anyone knows, I'm a huge fan of this run. We had Eric Burnham on the show. He is just such a delight. Him and Danny Showing are just a beautiful collaborator. They're still doing stuff to this day. I love this story. I'm a big fan of also Halloween stories with the Ghostbusters. Every Halloween, I rewatch the Real Ghostbusters episode, When Halloween is Forever, where they fight Sam Hain, who is the epitome of Halloween, in his attempt to, of course, take over the world after being free after 1,200 years. This was great. I love history. I love folklore. This, to me, was right up your alley with that kind of Mike Mignola fairy tale storytelling. The thing that shocked me is just reading it. It's like, this story got dark. I mean, you think Ghostbusters. I don't think I've ever seen mention of the devil.
Johnny.
Johnny.
Other things. And I never knew the myth of Spring-Heeled Jack. I knew.
Is this Spring-Heeled Jack? I saw Stingy Jack.
Well, Spring-Heeled, Stingy, regardless, I never knew this myth until I reread the story and I looked it up. I was like, oh shit. Because I knew the story of that's why we light the jack-o'-lanterns, but I didn't know of it. It's kind of one of those. It's kind of like how a myth becomes so commonplace that you don't need to know it, but the message is already there.
Can I interject 1 second?
Please.
Maybe Leo, you're the Googler on this show. I always thought Spring-Heeled Jack was another name for Jack the Ripper. Am I wrong?
Carrie, I feel like this is your bag, honey.
Carrie.
Spring-Heeled Jack is an entity in English folklore of the Victorian era. The first claimed sightings of Spring-Heeled Jack was in 1837. Later sightings were reported all over United Kingdom, were especially prevalent in suburban London, in Scotland.
You know what? I'm right. I'm wrong. I referenced Spring-Heeled Jack. It is Stingy Jack. So, Joe, you were right.
Okay.
That's my bad.
Sounds like I was wrong too, because Jack the Ripper is 1880s, right?
Yeah, he was 1888. I'm a Jack the Ripper expert, kind of.
Oh, are you? Cool.
Yeah, and what I was trying to say, I didn't realize I muted myself because I was typing in because I wanted to get the dates right for that. But Steve Van Samson, one of the stories that he released a bit ago, in Black Honey references Spring-Heeled Jack and Jack the Ripper and stuff. Yes. So if you go through and read some of his latest stuff, he's on the network. It's amazing and it's really well written.
So the wiki mentions Jack the Ripper as well.
There you go. But so like I said, Stingy Jack, my apologies, everybody. I'm allowed one or two. It's not a Gotham War mistake.
I just wanted to be clear because my brain is going, this isn't a Jack the Ripper guy. And so my brain is going, I like the idea of the character made a deal with the devil and somehow conned the devil out of taking his soul. I love that idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wanted to see that book.
Totally.
Right?
Is that my next project? I'm going to start.
There you go.
Why
not?
Ready, you draw it?
Stingy
great.
Jack. Great.
Just real quick,
love this.
Stingy Jack. You're right, Drew. The Jack-o'-lantern, also known as Jack Smith, Drunk Jack, Flaky Jack, or Jack-o'-lantern, is a mythical character.
Right.
It's Flaky Jack, by the way, not Flaky.
Yeah. But
and they would carve turnips.
And the thing that I also like is that while they do reference other stories, which me being someone who's read the whole thing, I know the stories they're referencing, the characters, it wasn't confusing. I feel like you're like, oh, okay. But you can still, that's the majesty of Burnham and Showing's run. It was so effortlessly such a love letter to so many different levels of Ghostbuster fandom, but they still told these great stories that pushed the characters to new places. In this wonderful way of incorporating everything. You had the movies, the video games. They had a ton of Easter eggs in the cartoons. Like I thoroughly loved it. So but I would love to hear what you guys thought about it, being that
I read it in the voices from the movies, so
that's fair.
it made it. No, it was fantastic because of that. Even the little lawyer guy there, like I'm sitting there doing his voice and everything. It was a fun read, although I don't know the whole mythos behind all the rest of the stuff going on in this Ghostbusters universe. It was an easy read. It didn't take me out of it at all at any point where I was like, oh, I'm very confused what's going on here. It read very easily for me, and the art was still stupendous.
Dan just does such a great work.
And the stingy, I'm with Joe. I want to read that story, Stingy Jack story. I want to see the devil get taken.
Yeah,
I think for me, with rereading it, I was like, man, this guy is such a curmudgeon. He tricked the devil a third time. I was like, God damn, that's a clever idiot.
Can you? I gotta say, I don't understand what happened on the end. And so he tricks one of the Ghostbusters into collecting him in one of the cells.
Right.
And then the devil comes out of the ground and grabs the cell.
No. The devil grab?
He grabs a pumpkin.
It was the turnip.
Yeah, the turnip.
The turnip. He grabs a turnip.
Right.
And what does that mean? I didn't get it.
All I thought
he
it
believes
was.
the turnip is him.
What's that? What'd you say,
I
Karen?
believe the devil thinks that the turnip is him, since that's.
Oh, I thought it was just the end of his sentence, having to walk around.
It's the end of his sentence. What sentence?
Where he's forced to mope around the world, like 'cause Jack's looking away out of the bargain. Right.
Yes, he was trying essentially. So Joe, to answer what happened is that the devil kept blocking any attempt the Ghostbusters were making to capture Jack.
The devil was doing that?
The devil was, because that's the wall fire and stuff.
That's the devil?
Yeah. Okay. So basically he realizes that, and then Jack, having studied the Ghostbusters, he sees Winston Zedmore, and he notices that Winston is wearing a crucifix.
Has more faith than the others.
Right. So the devil could not touch him. So he was Winston's loophole, because while he is protected from evil, essentially anything on his surrounding part would be also exempt, like his ghost trap. So that's his way of essentially so that's his way of essentially getting out of it. And then at the end, you see the devil, pissed off, of course, because he got outsmarted again. He reaches up with his monster hand and claims Jack's turnip, the symbol of his light, because that was an ember from him. In the beginning, the devil gave him an ember from the pit that was to light his way as he wanders the world every Halloween, trying to rest. So that's essentially from what I gathered.
I got to read that again.
It's all good.
We had a question here. Sebastian is asking, hey, Joe, what projects are you currently working on outside of Zodiacs? Any active things you're doing for DC or Marvel?
Nothing at the moment for DC or Marvel. Just new Zodiacs at the moment. And then I have a Whatnot stream, which is
fantastic if you guys ever get to check it out.
Does fairly well in that I get a lot of commissions from it. So that's keeping me busy also. And then I do conventions. I have Rhode Island Comic Con coming up next week. But if Marvel sent me a text, we want you to draw Spider-Man tomorrow, I'd be like, okay, let's go, let's do it.
There you go.
What's the Whatnot stream?
Whatnot is it's like a combination of live streaming with eBay.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
you
nice.
sell stuff, and you talk about the things you're selling. And for me, because I'm an artist, I do live sketching on the show. So like someone will make a request. I have one gentleman, his name is Charles. He comes on and he's like, hey, do Rye, which was my first character that I ever drew as a pro. Rye is a future character. Let's do Rye with Vance Astro from the Guardians of the Galaxy, 2 characters from the year 4000. And I'm like, I never did that before. And I never put the 2 together, talking about crossovers. These are 2 characters from the distant future, right? And what a story that could be. That could be pretty cool. So I do a live sketch of Rye with Vance Astro, and that was pretty cool. And then one week I did the Green Goblin because we're doing Halloween themed stuff. So I did a Green Goblin sketch on the
I love your colors.
Loved that.
God, that came out great.
I thought that was great,
the other
man.
day in black and white.
Thank you. So that I do a lot. I'm getting a lot of commissions from Whatnot too. So, but like I said, Sebastian, if Marvel or DC called me tomorrow, I'd be like, "What do you need?"
Yeah. So, Joe, we're coming kind of near the end of our time with you. So, thank you again for being here. We loved reading Fear. I think we could all say Fear was a pretty solid, great read. And I'm thrilled most of you enjoyed, even though you might need to read it again. I'm glad you guys all liked the story.
We'll have
Spring of Jack. And Joe, you're welcome anytime. But essentially, I guess signing off, how can people get in touch with you? When we're going to see that next issue of Zodiac? Like, what are you working on? All that jazz. Please let who's watching know.
Our loose goal is to have a Kickstarter for the next Zodiacs by the end of the year. Please let that happen. Astronaut Inc. ink.com is where you can find the creator-owned stuff that I've done. And working on I'm not sure if my portfolio, my other portfolio work is up on the Astronaut Inc. site, but so I'm still working on the website, adding new pages and stuff like that in my spare time. But Astronaut Inc. Or JoeSt.Pierre.com, I think they both go to the same place. Let me check. JoeSt.Pierre.com. Just moved to a different website facility. So, okay. So yeah, that Joe St. Pierre is not working, but astronaut like the spaceman and Astronaut Inc. ink.com works.
Okay.
Awesome. And I have those links in the show notes up above or down below.
Thank you. And there's links to the social media on the website too.
Nice. And Joe, if you have issues getting JoeSt.Pierre.com moving over, if you have questions or anything, feel free to hit me up.
I think it's a matter of me. I have to pay for a service to kind of link the site, link the address to the site, and I just haven't done that yet. Is that true?
No. So with your, if you're still paying for the domain, and you still own the domain, a lot of times the company you buy it from has their own DNS, and it's just going to be setting up a redirect from one to the other.
Okay.
Maybe
we can talk about that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's just hit me up anytime you got questions.
Thank you. Appreciate it, bud.
Right.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much for joining us, Joe. It was really great having you back, boss. Looking forward to seeing you at another con and seeing more of Zodiac.
Are you guys going to Rhode Island?
No, sadly.
No, sadly not. Not this
Carrie,
year.
Where are you located, Carrie?
I am in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Oh, wow. So you won't be at Rhode Island Comic-Con.
Yeah, no, I made the trip to Terrificon. It was the first con I've ever been able to go to because, we, not counting little tiny local ones like for local gaming shop types of setups that we have here. So that's what I'm aiming to do that as often as as possible, and maybe get something else in again, because you guys on the East Coast have it made. You have the best ponds.
We know.
We do okay.
We do great.
And
I just can't afford to live there.
We have this great little posse of people that we see at all the shows too.
It's true.
With Leo and Drew and Jar Jar and all the guys,
all the people,
gals.
And I dropped a ball this year. I didn't get press passes for Rhode Island. I'm on new medication, so I figure Rhode Island would be a little tough for me. So it's but next year we're gonna go.
And also with the SAG strike, we figured we weren't gonna be able to get a lot of good interviews because of things. So we know some people, like some certain toy sellers, will be there, J-Bo, and we hope they do well. And we know other artists like you, Joe. We hope you guys do well as well. So.
Oh, by the way.
Oh boy.
Horror. Read this stuff. You will love it.
Wow. Nice.
Oh, by the way, read this stuff.
Yes, of course. Oh, by the way.
Oh, wow.
One of my favorite covers, Mike Plug, one of my favorite artists. He was a monster guy in the 70s, right? They gave him co-creator of Ghost Rider, Werewolf by Night, Frankenstein, Man-Thing, artist on all the monster stuff. I think he would have kicked ass on Spider-Man, and I never saw that. Also, I've been reading this. Very Halloween-centric. Good shit.
Very nice.
Good shit. Okay.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much, and happy Halloween, and keep up the good work, my man.
Hey, thank you.
Very nice to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Nice meeting you.
Also, just real quick, we're doing separate recordings for each one. So I think if you hit Leave Studio, it'll bring you to a downloads page.
You will.
So that way, if you can let it up.
How do I look?
Beautiful.
Like the bell of the ball.
Marvelous, Joe. You look.
I think you're looking out the mouth.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, Joe.
See you later. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
It was good seeing you, Joe.
Joe's the best.
So
sorry if you guys could hear my dogs barking.
Oh, it's fine.
The kids were antagonizing them.
It's all good. So I say, because we ran a little long, I think we bantered. We got right, and we should just get right to the news.
Yeah, we'll bring it right up.
I know you're all doing well. And it's Halloween. And it's Carrie's birthday.
Okay, we'll rush through this.
News.
So who has the Deadly Foes variants?
I don't think anyone claimed that.
No, but I can look over them real quick. We were talking about variants because there were, what did you say, Leo? 109 variant covers this week alone.
Yeah.
And that was just from the big two.
Yeah, so just from go for it, Drew.
No, I was gonna say, 109 variants. So guys, please stop.
This one, I just did the two real quick because you mentioned we were going to pull up the different variants and nobody claimed this. But
yes,
this is a Deadly Foe series through Marvel Comics. Artist David Barden is going to go through the different rogues gallery. Every major superhero with their rogues gallery. They're doing giant size, and this is the first one in January. Giant Size Spider-Man #1 by Cody Ziegler and Ivan Coelho. And or Yvonne Coelho, and after that, there's a couple more that they've shown us the covers for, but they do not have release dates or all of the rest of the information up yet.
Right. So we're going to see Hulk, X-Men, and Daredevil so far, and it honestly, what I like about the art style is it's very 70s style.
It reminds me of Saturday morning cartoons almost.
Yeah, it has that kind of nice vibe to it, and honestly. I think that's the kind of gimmick I can get behind. It's very simple, but it's also paying tribute to the legacy of the characters.
Yeah.
So, honestly, that's the kind of variant that, again, I don't think I would buy, but I could definitely see the appeal, and I applaud that kind of artwork. So, Mr. Bardeen, keep it up.
Agreed.
So I know you mentioned this. Just want to show this real quick. I wasn't kidding. There just for Marvel and DC alone, there is 109 variants this week only, or not only this week, but just for this week
alone. Yeah, this is getting seriously nuts, guys. We don't need this many covers.
No. There's really nothing more to say. It's just, it's too much. And it's, this is all I'm going to say on it. And then I say we just move on to the next thing is it's just too much. And on top of it, it's not going to save the industry. That's the way I look at it.
It's really not. Although it is giving a lot of artists some paid time.
There you go. So but I think it's just oversaturating the market in a way that it doesn't need right now.
Yep.
So
and shelf space. Oh, we have to make this much room for the new Batman.
Go back 1 second, Leo.
Yeah.
Go back to the last page you had up, or scroll up a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
It's not showing it now, but it had remember the Return of Superman?
Yeah.
They're doing those covers. There they are.
Right there.
Return of Superman covers.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
I like those.
Yeah, these look pretty cool, but there is a bunch of them, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's more down here.
Yeah.
All right. So
I know my LCS doesn't even carry half of some of the variant covers that come out because they don't have room.
Usually you got to order like 500 of each comic to get it's really ridiculous. It's really meant for like bigger comic shops that are doing it,
right? Your Midtown Comics kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, all right, so variant covers, 5 minutes spent. Next.
Okay. Green Arrow.
Yes.
All of them.
I know. Let me pull up my notes for it. Where the hell? Hold on. Where is
Well, yeah, this is currently Green Arrow. This is Joshua Williamson's current run. And this issue specifically is a nice tribute one where you see a lot of Green Arrow artists who've worked on the character, such as the great Phil Hester, that's art style, whose interview we got to do at Terrificon, is amongst there. Because Phil being the artist for Kevin Smith's run on Green Arrow back in like the early 2000s. It's always nice seeing his style. I always enjoyed it.
Yeah, I pulled up my notes here. So, so with this, it's Oliver. So DC is maxing out green, and it's not of the gamma ray kind. So, I'll take that off. So spoilers for this issue of Green Arrow, actually a series. So Oliver teams up with an older version of himself, which warns him that the Arrow fam, and I hate that they're doing all the fam, like the Bat fam.
I know.
So the Arrow fam will be the cause of DC's Great Disaster. And if you don't know, the Great Disaster was a 1972 Jack Kirby creation. It was a DC ending event, the Great Disaster, a cataclysmic event, global proportions, blah, 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 essentially ended the world and created Earth AD. So anywho, Oliver learns that the old Oliver is a cyborg, not the cyborg from Titans, and Oliver 1, or Oliver Prime, is pushed through a time portal before he can figure it out. Oliver Prime lands in Star City, meets up with, get this, his younger self, and let's call him Oliver 0.5, who can be identified by a white feather in his cap. Soon after, the Oliver twins are met up by other Green Arrows from different eras, with the Golden Age Virgin.
Leo, do you need a break?
So the younger Oliver, the Golden Age Oliver is suggesting that they fight to the death because there can be only one. So it gets crazier. Oliver Prime learns they are not cyborgs, and he gets pushed through yet another portal. This is going to be a 12-issue run by Joshua Williamson, Sean Azaki, Phil Hester, Andre Parks, Romulu Farjado Jr., and Troy Petrie. And the quote is, "It's been a blast writing this series." Williamson explained in a recent post on his Substack, "A dream come true. My goal for this series is to tell a kind of Hush level story with Ollie and his family. We're only 3 issues in. We've had a lot of characters to bring in for this Arrow family reunion."
All right. Well, he mentioned Hush, so now I'm sold. I was like, huh?
Yeah, that's a tall comparison because Hush is arguably one of the best Batman stories, not both successfully but also artistically. Like, and I know this because that's one of 2 series that brought me back into comics was Ultimate Spider-Man and Hush.
That would be a fun comic book roundtable.
Absolutely. But absolutely. So I'm all for a good Green Arrow story. I mean, I've never been the biggest fan, but I definitely enjoy a good story. And like Jeremy said, Hush. Okay, we'll see where we go there.
Yeah.
So.
And my apologies. I knew that was a little long, but I did my research for the news.
No, that wasn't what worried us. Is that there's a lot you flubbed a lot of words.
I did.
I think you're a little more tired than you realized.
I was trying to get through it fast. And also I'm feeling kind of crummy today. So anywho, so Philadelphia, Jar Jar.
Oh, that would be me. Yes. Hold on one second as I pull up my notes.
So Jar, can I just say I started reading this book recently just because I read this story and I was like, wow, that's awesome. This story, really cool. We have to cover it at some point. This is a great vampire story.
Is it based mainly around vampires?
Yeah, it's primarily vampires, but there's as the story goes on, you see other characters in it, and this is where it's promising. It's definitely promising a far bigger story. So with this, I mean, geez, what a big shift.
Coming up in issue 31 from Image Comics, a fresh story arc kicks off with an exciting guest appearances. The issue will feature none other than Todd McFarlane's Spawn, alongside Eric Larson's Savage Dragon, as well as Blackula and the iconic Count Dracula. This installment promises a thrilling clash between heavenly and hellish forces in the streets of Philadelphia as Spawn joins the mix, adding a dynamic twist to the urban horror series. This issue serves as a perfect entry point for new readers and is poised to reshape the Philadelphia universe with unexpected character crossovers. The series, which has earned an Eisner Award nomination and consistently sold out, continues to surprise fans with landmark storyline that brings recognizable characters from outside Philadelphia into the mix. Drew's little synopsis there makes it even more interesting to me. I thought this was going to be like one of Image's first crossover the universe kind of thing.
No, it honestly, I've been reading it. It's fantastic. The history, the explanations, and also to its credit, its success. It's actually a Leviathan or whatever films acquired the rights to do a television adaptation with Barnes attached as a producer. So that was back in 2020. I don't know exactly where it's going, but if that happens, I'm there. Because if they adapt that well, this shit will be awesome. So that's all I'm saying.
Very good.
Yep. November 15th, I believe, is the issue. Philadelphia 31. Guys, I just got to say, if you need a horror fix, like of Carrie, this is worth reading. So definitely enjoying it. So cool. That's a big story. You got 2 different Draculas and you got Savage Dragon and Spawn. Fuck, man.
So speaking of Carrie, Marvel and Magic, what do you got there?
Yeah. Okay. So this is awesome and kind of awesome and kind of not. So Hasbro and Marvel are teaming up, and they mentioned it back in 2021. They're going to release a new series of Magic the Gathering cards under their sub-brand Universes Beyond. Now, the thing about Universes Beyond is that the cards that are used in this sub-brand, you have to know something about Magic for this, are not used in standard legal or type 1 or type 2 play, which is the most widely used format for tournaments, because they try to keep just using the newer editions and stuff that come out to keep people buying stuff. But they will be allowed in the Eternal formats, which are like Vintage, Legacy, Commander, Pauper. And those are things that a lot of people play at home so that they can use their old cards. And there's some restricted ones and stuff in those sets, but you'll be able to play with the Marvel heroes and your goblins and your stuff from back when Alpha and Beta were being released. But the thing about Universes Beyond that's kind of cool, they have been releasing different ones, and they have more up to come. So what we have so far, they have released series, and each series has multiple sets. Some of them only have one right now, but most of them have a number of them. For The Walking Dead, which came out right before the brand, they grandfathered it into it. Then they've done Stranger Things, Arcane, Street Fighter, Fortnite, Warhammer 40K, Transformers, Dungeons and Dragons, Lord of the Rings, Creepshow, Doctor Who, Evil Dead, and The Princess Bride. And coming up in 2024, besides this, will also be Jurassic Park and Jurassic World is coming out at the end of November, and they'll be releasing Fallout, Assassin's Creed, Final Fantasy, and Marvel in 2024.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you've heard about the One of One ring, that was part of the Lord of the Rings set that was sold to Post Malone for $2 million. They printed a single foil variant card of the One Ring, which it actually technically isn't a great card in the game. But, somebody randomly opened it up. I think it was somebody in Brazil. He happened to be a collector, but like I was saying, this is what I found out. The foil on it rolled enough, even though he knew how to treat it properly, that it was already a 9 when he got it graded. But because they sold that well, now Hasbro is thinking of releasing other single card things throughout the universes that they can release. And so there is speculation that they might try to do something similar with an Infinity Gauntlet, is what they thought would be a good for the Marvel Universe thing. But this is only website speculations. They haven't posted any of the art release or anything yet. Leo, you're muted.
I feel like that's just such a mean thing to do to the collectors.
Yeah.
Like, put that one card out.
Well, not only
if
that.
a kid gets it.
I'd be happier if a kid gets it. Because, it's a game. I'm like...
Yeah, but
I mean,
there's
like
only one, and like...
And it's costing $2 million?
Well, it was...
Okay, no... There is a One Ring card that is released that everybody can play, but they made a special collector's edition called the One of One card, but that they're calling it's like a Willy Wonka golden ticket. They put it into random packs and shipped it out, so it was somewhere in the world. So everybody can play or can get their hands on a regular One Ring, which, like I said, is kind of a shitty card. But there was only the single. And it was done with foil effects and completely different than the regular artwork and stuff. Single card.
Well, it was also worth $2 million because that's what was it? Post Malone or something? Yeah. It was
well, it was. Well, he bought it for that much. The person who had it, I've read quite a bit about this. Was offered. There were offers already posted by comic book collecting company or like comic book shops and game stores and stuff, posting up offers, and the highest that they had reached was like $2 million just for when somebody finds it. They were willing to pay that much because nobody had found it yet. And so the guy who opened it was a huge Post Malone fan. And so he offered him that rate for the card. Like if you'll pay as much as these people are offering. And then he went down and like got it from him personally. So we got to meet him.
I mean, good for the guy that found it, I guess.
Yeah. I know we need to move into the next story, but this just means that this is the 80s or 90s all over again. We're going to be collecting Marvel cards,
basically.
Yeah. Okay. So, Drew, I love this.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. This is one of the best covers I've seen in a long time. 2024's January issue of Nightwing will parody the beloved woman yelling at the cat meme, which we know is from a 2011 still from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So that, the Taylor Armstrong crying and pointing during an argument. And then the second one was, a confused looking cat at a dinner table. Kind of that whole, I'm arguing. And the cat is like, fuck you. By the way, fun fact, the cat's name is Smudge. So I just wanted to let you know, in case I had no idea. I just thought.
You just took out some real important information out of my brain just so that I now know that the cat's name from that friggin' meme is Smudge.
You're welcome.
I just lost something really important.
Well, listen, I don't think you needed to know how to do math, so fine. So, so this story is taking place during the Titans Beast World storyline. So that's when you're seeing world overrun with beasts, being one of those beasts, essentially being Damian, who has been essentially turning into somewhat of a cat. So in the story, you're seeing Nightwing and Batgirl and Titans doing everything to help the world, but there is a threat in Bloodhaven. Essentially, a Robin is now a cat. And if I hear any Gotham War reference, I swear to fucking God, Leo. Okay? So can John Kent and his other BFF Nightwing save the city from Damian, or is that going to be ridiculous? I'm sorry. Tom Taylor's Nightwing has been one of the best things DC has been doing. It's consistently humorous, well-written, well-drawn. They're taking bold chances, and they're committing to their stories. And this cover, done by Bruno Redondo, who's been collaborating quite frequently with Tom Taylor, just proves that you can just have fun with it. And personally, I would buy that color just on cover on principle alone, because it's fucking hilarious. So that's all I'm going to say.
That's a new series, right, Nightwing?
Well, it's not really new. It's the series that was started in 2016, and just Tom picked it up around, I don't know, mid 70s, I think, 70s, 80s, and he's just been writing it since.
Okay,
this is where we have Nightwings. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I thought they restarted it recently.
No.
Okay.
They've just been.
But that's where they named his butt, right?
Carrie, you gotta let the butt thing go.
It just the covers with the references to the butt. It was just like, what? I don't understand, because I don't read Nightwing. And then it was like, it was a whole thing. And I was like, what?
He's got one super hat.
Okay, we're gonna put a pin on that, Carrie, because we could waste another hour explaining the mythology of how Nightwing's butt became its own hero.
Okay.
No. Next.
No, I was just gonna say, because of time and because I screwed up and didn't do my research, we are gonna skip Marvel Voices, so we will head over to Magic. Jar Jar.
Oh, that is me. All right. So in January, a pivotal moment in the X-Men's groundbreaking Krakoa age is set to unfold in two significant series, as I told you last week: Fall of the House of X by Jerry Dugan and Lucas Wernick, and Rise of the Powers of X by Kieran Gillen, and R.B. Silva. After the dramatic events in Fall of X, the X-Men are compelled to come together for a momentous battle that transcends time and space, ultimately shaping the future of mutant kind. Fans can now preview a new variant cover, as we're seeing, for Fall of the House of X #1, created by renowned cover artist Stanley Lau, aka Art Germ. In this striking artwork, Art Germ features one of the X-Men's most iconic members, Magic, who has become a popular figure on comic book covers. Magic, who had served as one of Krakoa's war captains and defended the mutant nation and her unique powers, recently found herself stranded in Vanaheim with a group of mutants in the realm of X. Amidst prophecy-driven conflicts and enigmatic power issues, the question remains, will Magic return to Earth in time to join the X-Men in their final stand? And that's about all I got to say about that one.
On sale January 3rd, everyone.
Yeah. Art Germ just does amazing work.
It really does. It's like, again, I have no desire to read this, but by God, he does beautiful work.
Yeah, it draws your eyes right to it.
Yeah,
like,
and that's
wow.
her latest costume too, and it's a nice splash of color, but it's just so well done.
It
So,
reminds me of like Final Fantasy, the cutscenes in the games.
yeah, totally. It's got that
so,
nice effortless anime
yeah,
3D, but very lifelike. Like I would love to see a cosplayer do this version.
oh, for real.
Absolutely. So,
Awesome.
but Art Gem, he's a bestseller for a reason. So, sir, keep it up.
On to the next piece. Oh,
Yeah, so apparently somebody lost a couple fingers. 6 fingers?
that's
Yes.
a few fingers missing.
Okay, this is Image Comics is going to be releasing a new horror story series in February 2024 called The Six Fingers. It's going to be set in a cyberpunk world. It's going to be written by Dan Waters, known for his Loki comics, with art by Sumit Kumar of Man Bat fame. And I've read those little pages. It's very interesting. This artwork is made from flesh and such. And the official image description of the first issue is a Nia Novena archaeology student, Johannes Vale, has always been so very in control of his life. But when he commits a brutal murder using the MO of an historic and notorious serial killer, everything begins to spiral out of control, primarily as Johannes doesn't remember doing it. What follows is a deadly cat-and-mouse game as Johannes seeks refuge in the rain-soaked streets of Nia Novena. He will stop at nothing to unravel the secrets and ciphers of what he did and why he did it, but each revelation only leads further into the dark heart of his future metropolis and Johannes' own heartbroken soul. So, looks like it's going to be very interesting. Got the little like cyberpunk thing going on, along with the bits of mystery and a bit of horror thrown in. So I think it was really interesting, and the artwork is fabulous as well. Yeah, it's got good setting, good plot line. What I read was good writing.
I'm down to read issue 1. I don't know about you guys.
It looks interesting, yeah.
Leo?
Yeah. So next, I was trying to think of a funny way to do this, but what's the alternate of Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Ferris Bueller's. What's his sister's name?
I'll give it to you. Parker Lewis Can't Drew.
Oh no!
Get out. Okay, this has been a huge thing recently because we've talked about Ultimate Spider-Man coming back in January 2024 as part of the relaunch for the Ultimate Universe. And we've heard that the writer, John Hickman, has brought up that it's kind of has some inspiration from Peter B. Parker. But now we know officially it is an older Spider-Man, one who is married to Mary Jane and has kids. So
hence the beard, huh?
Yes, and he's a bearded Spider-Man. I love all of this. So what we're seeing here is some beautiful variant covers by artist Elizabeth Torque, which will adorn the first 4 issues. And then we also saw Superior Spider-Man alum Ryan Stegman's cover, the family photo. That's Stegman. Looks great, as always. The whole family. Essentially, the Hickman definitely said that he wanted to lean into his superhero life from a different place than, because we've read Ultimate Spider-Man, so we've seen the origin. This is one, he's already married, he's already a dad, so this is their way of showing the different thing. And I think it's also a slight kind of fuck you to what they're doing to Spider-Man currently in the main Amazing Spider-Man, because him and Mary Jane aren't even, she's a stepmom to another family. They're not even a couple. They're like trying to pretend that they're like, their love is like more like a sibling love. I was like, weird.
What?
So I don't really think so, but I found it really amusing that the Ultimate Universe is showing that essentially what we've known for years, that they could still be married and still tell the great stories that are being told, but Marvel wants a single Spider-Man, I guess.
Wouldn't it be hard to wear that mask with the beard that he has going on there?
It's doable.
Beard.
Thank you.
It's doable. A lot of moisturizer,
It's like
Carrie.
poofy.
I'm with Carrie.
But I mean, like But I mean,
You're
like,
gonna
you
have
pull it
hairs
over.
sticking out of the mask.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like,
Yeah, but then when you take the mask out, it pulls on the hair. Oh, that would
oh
be
right,
painful.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see January 10th how he does it.
clean shaven,
Right.
Peter. Gotta be
But
clean shaven.
I am pumped. So I will definitely be buying that issue 1, not because it's going to be a selling item, just because
Well,
I'm so pumped to read another Ultimate Spider-Man story. And you got
Yeah.
Hickman doing it, Marco Cicchetto, who's a fantastic artist. So that shit's going to look gorgeous. I'm so ready.
Mhm.
Oh, the Ultimate Universe is dead. Long live the Ultimate Universe. Next, please.
Awesome. Very cool. So something we've all been waiting for is a Wildstorm character is returning.
We have
Yes.
So I know Brandon's going to be psyched about this because
Yep.
this involves Planetary. I know he loves that series.
Mhm.
So news everybody's been waiting for, the drummer, and it's listed as first name The, last name Drummer, is returning. The drummer first appeared in 1998's Planetary preview, and
Mhm.
they're coming back for a new Outsiders series by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly. And for those of you not familiar, Planetary is a series created by writer Warren Ellis, and John Cassidy was the artist, published by Wildstorm imprint of DC Comics. And it ran from 27 issues from April 99 to October 2009. So Planetary, describing themselves as archaeologists of the impossible. Planetary is an organization intent on discovering the world's secret history. Funded by a mysterious fourth man, the field team consists of 3 superhuman beings, and the field team travel the world investigating strange phenomena, including monsters, aliens, and whatnot.
Well,
Yeah.
but correct me if I'm wrong, Leo. Like, this book by Lansing Kelly and their creator, collaborator Robert Carey, it almost sounds like it's kind of this version of the Outsiders is like a riff on Planetary, because
Correct.
you have this small team. You've got Batwoman, you've got Lucas Fox, aka former Batwing, and now the drummer. They're exploring the multiverse, right?
Yep. So that's why I wanted to give everybody a heads up on what Planetary was, because they are considering this a rough or a riff, as you mentioned. So the cover of the Outsiders suggests that drummer may be a woman in this incarnation. And
Okay.
yeah, so the synopsis, and you can tell because let me see, where'd the cover go? You see the woman here holding a drumstick. I'm assuming she's the drummer.
tongue in cheek there.
Yeah, I know. So synopsis, only 2 things are certain about the mysterious door that has appeared in the Outsider's ship. The first, it was opened by the drummer using a set of multiversal coordinates discovered in a dream. The second, their computers have identified only as a narrative singularity. For most, to step through such a door would be unthinkable, even insane, which makes it a perfect mission for the Outsiders. As Kate Kane, Luke Fox venture into the unknown reaches of the multiverse, they will fall deeper and deeper into a maze of darkness. Guided by unfamiliar versions of familiar faces, what is the strange world they've discovered? How are they connected to it? And who is lurking in the shadows, ready to destroy it all? And I believe the drummer is a computer whiz, if I'm not mistaken.
Drum things.
It's been I mean,
They make
Leo,
things
the
that
last
big.
time we saw this character was 2004. So this is a post Flashpoint version.
Yeah.
You know, it's really hard to say, but to be quite honest, this is the kind of things I want to see in DC and comics. I want to see, not afraid to take the story in different directions, use underutilized characters again, and kind of reintroduce them to audiences who may not be familiar, because like we've discussed today, it could be someone's first comic. So they kind of want to know, like, oh, what's that? Then they discover Planetary, and then they might find something else they like. Comics are good stepping stones like that.
I feel like they've tried to reintroduce Wildstorm a few times now in the recent past, and like it just doesn't seem to catch on. or
Well-
they just don't go anywhere with it?
Well, I think the thing being is that what they're trying to do is, because I've seen Grifter in Batman, which is fine. Cold Cash has always been that kind of guy. And then we've seen other characters. We've seen Zealot pop up. We've seen a bunch of them popped up in the, I think it was Urban Legends series. Like a lot of them have been popping up. So I think it's just like you have to slowly integrate them in a way that you maintain the characters and the history, you reinvent what needs to be reinvented, but you also put them in a context where they'll stand out in a world that's, let's be real here, it's full of a lot more heavy hitters and big powers than the original Wildstorm was. So.
Now, the Outsiders, the previous incarnations was that was a Batman team, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
I
Batman. Batman Link. This one, it's a little different. It's taking it in a different direction. I mean, yeah, you've got Kate and Luke there, so you got some connection to the Bat family. But it sounds like they're really doing more of their own thing, and honestly, that's great.
Oh, totally.
So this is in store January 9th. So I'm also intrigued to check this out. So we'll see.
Yeah. Sounds good. Okay, Carrie, Weapon 8.
All right. So this is going to be released in February of 2024. Marvel is releasing a 4-issue limited series, Edge of the Spider-Verse.
Right.
They have already done 3 series under this name. There was a 5-issue run in 2014, another one in 2022, and a 4-issue run earlier this year. This one will be featuring Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, who will be writing this with artist Travel Foreman.
I think
they're all new
might
to
be
this-
Travis, but I think it's Travis Foreman. I think that was a typo from the thing.
Oh, okay. Travis Foreman, that makes a lot more sense. They're all new to the series, and their story in this is going to finally debut someone from the Weapon 8 project. Now, the Weapon Plus program is something that a lot of people have been confused by, because when they call Wolverine Weapon X, a lot of people confused it with X from the X-Men, thinking that it has nothing to do with it. It was a Roman numeral. It stood for the 10th experiment. People brought to us through the 10th program include Wolverine, Sabretooth, Maverick. Later on, they recreated it. We got Deadpool, Kane, Sluggo, Slayback, and stuff. So there have just been a shit ton of different characters through all the different experiments, but we have never heard any actual confirmation on anything about what happened with Project 8. Like, we know what happened with Projects 1, 2, through 14 and stuff. There's been at least some information. There have been suggestions that are all rumor and has never actually been confirmed by Marvel, that it was another project to create super soldiers. They were using psychotic people, criminals, and they were also using hypnosis and drugs to create sleeper agents. And somebody said that it is mentioned in New X-Men number 145, but according to Everything Geek, they haven't found it mentioned actually anywhere in the Marvel universe. So they're going to be bringing it. We finally get to figure out what Marvel had planned with Weapon 8. Also in the first issue is a story about Spider Bite, BYTE, and that is a character who was in the animated film recently, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and first debuted in 2018 in Vault of Spiders number 1, written by Nyla Magruder and with artist Eric Gapster.
Okay.
So we get the new Spider-Verse, and we also finally get to learn what Weapon 8 is, or Project 8.
So essentially, it looks like character saying is in this universe, it looks like Spider-Man was Weapon Plus related.
Potentially, or somebody used it, like when they redid for like the Deadpool with Weapon X Part 2, basically in the Reshlep K. They used his DNA, so perhaps they at some point have gotten a hold of some of Spidey's DNA and used that to create a character, a new character or a new type of weapon, because definitely you want his powers, but it looks a little techy. So I don't exactly know.
Well, and again, Spider-Verse,
I did a lot of researching on this, and
I can tell. the Spider-Verse has been pretty good at launching new characters. I mean, the first one we saw Spider-Gwen and Penny Parker, who, as we saw, made their debut in the original Spider-Verse movie. And as we know, Spider-Gwen, or Ghost Spider,
ended one of the longest real deaths in comics.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
sad.
It's just what we need, another spider character.
Spider Boy.
Well,
Spider Gwen.
and
please don't.
Silk.
maybe it's an enemy. You know, it doesn't say because.
Well, I didn't say it was a hero. It's just another spider character.
Oh wait, listen, I'm always down for just a good Spider-Man story, and it's always nice to see in a different context because it's basically their Elseworld in it. So, hey, we'll see. Because if it sucks, then we just forget about it like we've done all the other ones.
Yeah, and then they'll remind you about it, 20 years from now.
There you go. Exactly.
Remember this guy?
I know what Weapon 8 is.
Remember the story everybody hated? Well, it's back.
Clone Wars.
Yep. And next.
Thor Drew.
Yes. So, more Thor. So this is my last story. So essentially with this, this is related to the preview for November 1st, aka tomorrow. The Ultimate Universe is back. So this is following the stories that we've seen from Ultimate Invasion. We have the new Ultimates that are forming here. So you've got Iron Lad, aka Tony Stark. You've got Lady Sif there. You've got Thor. You have Reed Richards, who suspiciously looks like a new Doctor Doom, all in one shot, featuring work by Hickman, one of his collaborators, Stefano Caselli, who's known for Spider-Man work, and colorist David Curiel. So Thor is going to be confronting Lady Sif, who apparently is not his lover in this universe, but his jailer, with the intention of getting back his famous hammer Mjolnir, one way or another. So, as we can see here in the preview pages that were provided, thank you. Thank you. So Thor, 100% is still kicking some super ass, and he doesn't need permission to wield Mjolnir. Like, we've seen it where there are certain times where he can't wield the hammer because he's not worthy, or some sort of charm, or somebody else steals it or whatnot. This Thor has apparently been jailed in a Asgard prison. He is free. He wants his hammer back, and this hammer just comes back to him, and he rips. And at any point, you realize Thor could have easily called a hammer to him while he was in jail at any point, but he savored the chance to give his jailers a piece of his mind. So this Thor is no problem beating the crap out of Asgardians. So this is a very different kind of Thor than the Thor that we saw in previous Ultimate stories, who was a god, but he was a little bit more benevolent, a little bit more of a pacifist, but he had absolutely no problem, slugging his hammer in Hulk, the Chitauri, even other Thor versions. So to be quite honest, yes, more Ultimates. Let's go. This is out tomorrow. Please check it out.
Now, just to be, you told me this once before, we don't have to have read the original Ultimates to know what's going on.
Yes, the only thing that you would need to read is the 4-part issue of Ultimate Invasion, which essentially resets everything. It's a brand new Ultimate Universe that's really more for our contemporary age. There's a lot of ground to cover. And to be quite honest, it's a really exciting time because I feel the mission of the Ultimate Universe, which was to tell stories outside of the mainstream continuity that allowed creators to take them in new and different directions, is exactly the kind of thing that Marvel needs right now.
I think all comics need that.
Yes, but the Ultimate Universe did it right the first time. And yeah, it got a little lost along the way, but it was still pretty fucking awesome. So I'm thoroughly pumped. So, yep. That's me.
Very, very cool. Very cool. That's it. I think we made it.
Wow.
Nice.
We
All right.
made it.
So do we
end?
So
It's
is
the end of the
Halloween
book.
over? Do we just sign off and that's it?
Just about. I just wanted to say one thing really quick before we
for it.
do. This is comic book related, but I read a nice rumor today about Deadpool 3, where apparently with what's going on with Loki, that like the multiverse is going to explode, and Deadpool is going through the multiverse picking the prime versions of each character. So he's looking for like the best Wolverine, the best Spider-Man. That's why we're also seeing Beast as well. So he's out there recruiting the best of each character.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I read that today. Sounded very interesting. Figured I'd share. And with that, we will close things up. I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. You know me, just Google me. You'll find a bunch of stuff. It could be true, could be not. I'm not going to say which is which, but what is true is I run the Dorkening Podcast Network. You can head on over to thedorkening.com to learn more there. And you can see more of these fine, awesome people like Jar Jar.
Hey, follow me on Facebook. I'm Jeremy Courtney. And if you feel the need to listen to something new and fantastic, check out the Re-Education of Nancy Ann Ritter. Episode 3 dropped this past Sunday. You can check that out anywhere you listen to podcasts or watch podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, any of those things. And check out Comic Book Lovers Buy, Sell, Trade, and Auction House on Facebook, and join the 30,000 other people that are buy, selling, and trading. And of course, check out Splash Pages every Tuesday at 8 p.m. where we'll all be.
Very cool. And our YouTube. Go check out our YouTube.
Our YouTube. Some great videos going on there, hey?
Yeah, the Crocoa one's at 2,500 views right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Carrie.
Hey, everybody. You can find me at, where is it? Carrie Sanders. I'm on Facebook. You see Crow is the avatar. That's me. When I'm not here on the Dorkening, I am over at the Owlite Network. I go by Delphine there, and we do a lot of different shows about storytelling, and we rate some horrible movies as well. So just keep an eye out for us over there, but you can find all my links at Carrie Sanders on Facebook. And this is Hinata, and she says she loves it.
Aww.
Head over to Drew.
Hi, I'm Drew, and I'll be concluding your night. I'm on Facebook. My Instagram is GhostBusterman1984. I'm trying to get back to writing for Screen Rant, so eventually that'll happen. I'm here every Tuesday with these great people. I'm perpetually trying to work on being other shows to stretch my legs and fulfill my Galactus-like vanity. So, Re-Education and Nancy Ritter, you're next. But all jokes aside, everybody, we've got a great couple of weeks left until 2024. So stay with us, see how we end 2023, as it's been a great year for us. And you're all beautiful and wonderful. And I wish you all a happy Halloween.
And with that, we're out of here.
Bye, everybody.
See you in November.
Oh, the button's not